hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where last week, unfortunately, what was the excuse last week? I wasn't here?
No, you were doing the farms, I said.
Oh, okay, there wasn't like tummy tucks.
No surgery, you had your surgery, you move on, James. Humour moves on.
Let me tell you about the surgery part, okay?
How did you have surgery?
Well, what happened was that one of my friends, who definitely needs surgery, okay, asked me how it was going because they were considering doing it.
The tummy tuck.
Yeah. So I had to
play along.
I had to embellish the whole thing, emblazon just about how the cuts and this and that and the other, and they sucked out all this.
So you must be looking a bit better these days, James.
And yeah, it said they're really looking very much better. So thank you for that, Laf. And I'm glad the farms were fun. But let's move on. We've got a huge program this week, and we've got Mike de Kock on the line from Dubai, chatting about a couple of weeks that we've missed him, and this week and the future as far as Dubai is concerned. All looks very rosy. And remember, you know, if you want to go to Dubai, you've got to go through Let's Go Travel in Full, Georgia. And it's filling up. It's apparently pretty close to full. I think
people are picking up now because once Michael rolls, the people get excited, you know. And there's obviously a lot of people are waiting to see what happens with the Horse of the Year Variety Club, you know.
Well, they're not going to get much chance because let me tell you, this tour is going to be oversubscribed.
Yeah, but it'd be great. You've got to go and see these horses, world-class horses.
And then we're going to have a look at emails as far as your call's concerned. Not many emails, but some quite interesting ones. But let's go straight into 3 to follow. Well, we just had some big sales in Cape Town, but the big one is coming end of April, National Yearling Sales, and my goodness, it's going to be one to go to. There was bloodstock like you can't believe, and there will be bloodstock there like you won't be able to believe. And we're going to show you some of these horses that have been sold on these sales in our 3 to follow. Let's go to the first one, the Juvenile Plate at Clearwood on Tuesday. The horse that ran third, Bengal Boy, very nice son of... he's a chestnut horse, this horse. He's out of Thekedi.
Yes, he's out of Thekedi. He's not, another horse. Not Argonaut, no.
He's a son of Thekedi. Let's go and have a look at him.
Yeah, let's stick with the mother. Yeah, here we go. And this I'm drawn towards our debut run, a very, very decent run. The horse they all had to beat was National King, who's in the pink. In the Sukraj colours, 2 off the right. It had run a cracking debut and looked the horse to beat. Had the experience and gets a good ride from young De Mello. And then moving across to join it is 7 Carat, the 7th Rock, who's had a debut. But the horse we found's right on the outside, a little green, and a couple of lengths off them on the outside.
Yes, it's actually quite a nice race this. I think that the horse that won National King we picked up after his first run, ran a cracking good race, and he was in our 3 to follow. But this horse certainly looks like he's worth following as well. He's got an extravagant action, this Chestnut. I think he's by National Emblem, isn't he?
Well, he might be by National Emblem.
And he's right on the left-hand side of the thing now, getting scrubbed along. The winner's on the right-hand side. And between them, 7 Carats, who didn't run a bad debut. Now, actually, National King goes away and wins it quite well, but I think that just condition told on this horse, Bengal Boy, and he's definitely going to have a big chance of winning next time out. It looks like he's got a nice action.
Yeah, very nice debut. Just got pipped for second, and Robbie Hill trains it. Brandon Arena rode it, and keep an eye on him, Bengal Boy.
Right, we're going to move on to the Vaal, 1,000 meters on the 30th of January, and this is one of the most sparkling debuts I've ever seen in my life. How did this horse win?
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful win, and it's a horse of Sean Terry's called Glasswing. He puts Colin Story on it. It's a 25 to 1, and the horse doesn't know much about racing until the penny drops very late in the race. Again, wonderful to see that he's very, when he buys from Michael Javitt, he invariably buys him a good horse.
Well, good for him. Michael Javitt's one of the nicest and best owners in his yard.
Yeah.
And on top of that, how this horse started 25 to 1 is beyond me. And a big stable, this horse, he couldn't have shown them anything.
Stablemate must have been showing them much, was 18 to 10, but drawn towards the outside. There wasn't much success on the outside at the Vaal. But let's go and have a look at this race. Called Glasswing, orange with the chocolate brown cap. It walks out the gate and really doesn't know much about it. Let's go and have a look at it. There we've got it there. Draw 4, Glasswing. Boom. Okay, I'll come out now. 1 or 2 others also slow, but you can see at the back early, orange colours with the chocolate brown cap, possibly lost now.
Yeah, and it's just absolutely amazing. You were laid 100 to 1 this horse could win from here. The stable companion, how often does this happen, that the stable companion actually gets beaten by the 25 to 1 shot? That's why the pick 6 is a nightmare, because it's very difficult to find these horses.
Yeah.
This wasn't in the pick 6, luckily. It was race 1, but yeah, he's 8-10 lengths off them, this horse.
Yeah, he's just been guided along. Samogan was the stablemate who was on the outside, never fired. But look at this horse start picking them off. They're running inside the 400. Got 2-3 lengths still to find.
Hands and heels.
Hands and heel. Colin Story guys here on race over. Nearly wins by 2 lengths as well.
He gets a smack here and just actually all he's got to do is just point him in the right direction. He absolutely doddles in. This was, I think, one of the best maiden wins I've seen for a long time. This
impressive.
could be, he's a trippy horse.
Yeah.
This could be a very good horse. I think he costs $1 million.
I don't know
as
what
a
he
yearling.
cost, but very nice horse.
$1 million as a yearling. He's got a pedigree and he looks like a racehorse the way he won that. We're going to move on to Kenilworth, Saturday the 1st of February, Met Day. And the juvenile stakes, we don't show the listed races, but this was well worth having a look at. A very fast area, the filly. And the fillies ran 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which always happens in these races, unless you've got a very good colt. They are more mature at this time of the year. But the horse that ran 4th, River God, very nice debut. Let's go and pick them up at the start.
Yeah, there was a lot of action, a lot of talk about Aria. They were very, very confident and running in the silks of Drakenstein. Quickly off to the front as Aria. The runner-up runs a great race, the 7th Rock horse, 7 grand. That gets left 3 or 4 lengths and runs 2nd. But the horse we found is easy to spot. Can't go with him here. It's in the red cap. I think it's only one horse in the race. When we get ahead on, 3 off the right in the red cap with a white face and the noseband.
He's behind also the blue and white colours at the moment. And he's a son of Argonaut, this horse. So Argonauts are starting to pick up. You might actually be able to find them cheaply at national yearling sales, because they came with a bang. They didn't do it, but they're starting to pick up. And this horse ran a really good race.
Very good race, because Aria's there. 7 grands chasing hard with Azarenka. But what a finish. This is a really smart debut, because it's a very tough race. The first race of his life. River God, remember the name? Nice big horse. Went down and saw him in the paddock. And for his first run, it's a cracking good run.
Yes, I think that of the unraced horses, he certainly looked like the right one. And I'm pretty impressed with him. I think that he'll go on and do something, that horse. We're going to go and have a look at Blast from the Past now. Unfortunately, we only downloaded the race, but it is a phenomenal race to watch this, because we're just starting to pick up horses all over the world, Blast from the Past, that will bring back great memories. And this was Zenyatta winning a 19th race, breaking the record, 19 in a row. It was a Ladies' Secret Stakes, and we only get the race, unfortunately, but the build-up was fantastic. I'm sorry we haven't got that for you.
Yeah.
Let's go and watch Zenyatta.
She was, for those of you who don't remember, she was a filly by Street Cry who was a superstar. She had 20 starts, 19 wins. She lost her last race. She ran 2nd. She always came from the clouds. I saw her run in Delmar. Big fillies to like stand and paw the ground. And this is one that you really got to watch. And again, Heart Attack, the Ladies' Secret Stakes. Remember Ladies' Secret? Great
race
horse.
there of Wayne Lucas.
Wayne Lucas, by Secretariat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but let's go and look at Zenyatta.
Big Red.
They're at the post. They're off. Good start. Moon de French broke best and goes for the front. Switches at the rail, and Emmy Darling is 3 deep. These three show speed. Satan's Quick Chick away in fourth. Zenyatta broke well, and she's fifth and last early. And right now about 8 lengths behind Moon de French as they turn into the backstretch. It is Moon de French to set the pace. It's a sensible pace. 3/4 of a length from Emmy Darling in second. Switch, the 3-year-old filly, is at the rail in third, and she's about 2 from the front. Satan's Quick Chick is fourth. She's got about 4 lengths to make up, and undefeated champion Zenyatta is at the back of the pack. She is 7 lengths behind as they head up the backstretch in the 18th Ladies Secret Stakes, and the leader is Moon de French with Emmy Darling in second. Moon de French, 4.5 furlongs from the wire, 3/4 of a length in front of Emmy Darling in second. Alonzo Canones has switched, well placed at the rail, 1/2 mile from home and 2 from the lead. Satan's Quick Chick is fourth. She's 3.5 off the lead, and Zenyatta is closer now. She's still fifth and last, but Mike Smith has her placed only 5 lengths behind with 3 furlongs to run. Moon de French tries to get away around the far turn. She's 2 lengths in front of Switch, who has taken over second. Zenyatta has just passed 2. She's up to third now and only 2.5 lengths from the lead, and here she comes. Switch is going to take over the lead from Moon de French. Zenyatta still has 2 lengths to make up and only a final furlong to do. She's going to have to fly again. Switch has the lead at 16th out. Zenyatta with giant strides trying to get her. Here she comes. She's done it again. 19 for 19. 8 here at Hollywood Park. Just another perfect day for the Queen, Zenyatta.
Trainer's name was Sheriff, wasn't it?
John Sheriff. So I'm just absolutely in awe of this filly. I love watching these things because, you know,
That's what gets us racing. That's what gets you racing. Did you hear the crowd when she went from 5th to 3rd?
Yeah.
The commentator was calling and the crowd just started cheering. Yeah. When I was there, James, they took out placards. People came down with placards.
Go Zenyatta.
Go Zenyatta. You know, they didn't worry about anything else. And when she got beat, there was a deadly hush. But when I saw her when she won a short head and she came from further back, she's just brilliant, eh?
You know, you just love to watch a filly like this. How good was she? You know, the horse that I think that reminds me of a South African horse would be Sea Cottage. You know, he really always just dropped off the pace and lobbed along at the back. And I think his final start here, they had him up handy and he won by about 10 lengths. You know, he just was. Right. That's how good he was. But she liked to lob, and she's got a second foal now on the ground. Right, I just saw the pictures on the internet. So, you know, hopefully she'll produce. Let's see what happens. But
you know where the name came from, James?
No.
It was an album by the Police called Zenyatta Mondata. And one of them liked this LP. It was a great LP from many, many years ago.
By the Police?
By the Police, you know, Sting and the Police.
Was it the New York PD or?
No, it was Police. And great. It was called Zenyatta Mondata. And that's where the name came from.
So why don't they call it Zenyatta Mondata?
I don't know, James. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you've answered most of the questions so far, so actually it's not bad. But we're going to answer a few more questions in your call with all the emails. Let's go and have a look at the plum of the week.
Angled out to the outside for his run, and he's starting to come home nicely back towards their inside. Golden Crystal is also in with a chance. Futura now pours on the pressure. Golden Crystal over towards the inside, but Futura has hit the front now and he's going on well. Glenton from the back of the field is trying to make a race of it, but Futura is too good here. He's drawing away, and Futura runs away to win it. Down the inside, Dustin gets up for second. They were then followed by Glenton back third. Parado kicked on best, the rest for fourth. Further back to captaincy, sidecar in behind that one.
Well, this one started 5-4. You could have got better than 15-10 any time you liked on Interbet. It was just the better, it kept you in the Met play because everything else went by the wayside. The ones that won, they were very short. This was 15-10 and better.
Very good. Looks a very good horse, James. But Dynasty, a beautiful horse, and Could be another string to Brett Crawford's bow, coming forward at the right time. 3 starts, first, second, first. Looks
Jack
very
Mitchell's
impressive.
colours, I think Jack Mitchell, John Freeman and
Yeah,
Longers,
that's right, correct. Yeah, well done to all of them.
So it was fantastic for them, but he is a very nice horse. But the point is that you could have got all your betting money on this. Everyone spoke about this horse when I walked on the course.
Was the talk,
This was the right horse, yeah.
Yeah.
So good luck to them, and good luck to those of you with an Interbet account, because you would have got the best odds available anywhere.
Right, current affairs, and obviously we're talking about a wonderful day down at Kenilworth, and the JMB Met Day was always one fanfare and crowds and a wonderful occasion. And again, I managed to do a lap and walked all around from the Grand West tent all the way through the parking, and had a good look at places. They really had a full go, and there was great racing on the day. I think 2 Group 1s and 2 Group 2s, obviously headed by the JMB Met, which we will talk about it a bit later. But the first race that came along, James, and we'll talk about before we do, is the Derby. It had people saying that the favourite, who's a very, very good horse, was too short, being a Captain over the ground, and they had their noses rubbed in it when the Met came along. But the winners quickened up as well as the favourite here.
Yes, I think the winner, there were excuses for him last time he ran. I know Justin Snaith was very disappointed with his run in the Guineas, as were most people, but he certainly put the record right here. I thought he won this fair and square. I thought the unlucky horse in the race was Power King. He gets absolutely taken out just when he's starting to make his run. But for the rest of it, no disgrace. Mike Bass's horse, Helderberg Blue, he's a naughty bugger, isn't he?
Difficult start there. I think I'm right in saying they're considering the unkindest Cutterwall.
Well, yeah, I think he deserves that.
I went and had a good look at this field, James, because I wanted to look at Captain America. He's a very big horse.
Lovely horse.
Very big horse. He's furnished a lot from when he was a young horse, and he runs a very good race. Let's go and have a look at it, James, because a lot of people thought Captain America, if he got any challenge, would be from Power King, who catches it up the inside. Let's have a look.
Ready to go and fired away to a nice level beginning. Ryan responded quick as the ball on the far side. He's going up to look for the early lead. Also going up handy, Helderberg Blue. This time he's going to race right up in touch with the leaders, and Cape Cutter's right there too. Just in behind these Count Rocket now settled back in third. They followed by Power King along the inside, racing back in fourth. Strongman is now taken hold of that bit, and he's moving past horses up on the outside to improve his position. Marmalade Tycoon races next, about 6 off them. Tracked then by Captain America, races 7 lengths off the leader. Orion, after alert start, is now eased back. Racing in behind that, Legislate must be 10 lengths off the lead. And Mountain Master is your trailer. Count's Rocket sets the pace as they go down towards the 1200. He's opened up now, deleted by 4 lengths. Cape Cutter racing in second. Strongman's gone to race in third. Helderberg Blue races behind those in fourth. They being followed then by Marmalade Tycoon. Power King is back at the fence and he's 12 lengths off the lead. Ryan races back on his outside, just ahead away. Legislate in behind that. Captain America's biding his time back, 1 from last, and Mountain Master is your trailer. Count's Rocket, as they go to the 800, he's opened a huge lead. He's now got away by 12 lengths. Count's Rocket by 12 with Cape Cutter racing back in second. Strongman in behind that, races in third. They being followed by Helderberg Blue along the inside. Marmalade Tycoon races outside of that. Then comes Power King and Captain America well back as they straighten up now and head for home with just on 500 metres left to go. Count's Rocket try to steal the Derby. He's out in front by 6 lengths. That's the one they've all got to get to. Racing in behind him, Helderberg Blue, Orion towards the outside. Strongman's behind these. Captain America is weaving his way through the traffic, and Power King took a very bad check down towards the inside. They race down to the final 100. Legislate now comes out to pick it up, and it's Legislate who's come forward to pick it up. Now Captain America sets out after him. Legislate's in front though. Captain America is unwinding his run, but he's going to come too late, and Legislate has won it from Captain America. Orion was in behind those. They were then followed across the line by Helderberg Blue. Further back in running then to Count's Rocket. In behind that came Strongman.
There we go, a wonderful win by Legislate. Again, throwing the Dynasty's hat right into the flag, and well done, of course, to the breeders who were Cheveley. Well done at Cheveley Young. They've always bred good horses at Cheveley, but Legislate wins a very good race here. That scrimmaging takes a bit of the gloss off the race.
Well, yeah, I'd think Legislate won fair and square.
So do I.
He got the run on them, and they weren't making any ground on him. It's nice to win a derby. How good this derby field is, only time will tell.
Yeah, I still think, the bit of honour and defeat for Captain America going the 10 furlong. I thought Ryan, who ran third, ran a very good race. But as you say, the time will be the great test here.
Yeah. Let's move on and go and have a look at the KwaZulu-Natal Beauty, the Beach Beauty, winning the Mallorca Stakes, and this was breathtaking.
Welwitcher is in. Beach Beauty completes the lineup. We set, ready to go. Cloverflame Mallorca Stakes, racing from that 1600-meter mark. Priceless Jewel began quickly, but there goes Jet Supreme off to set the pace. Beach Beauty is sitting in third place, and behind that we got Espumante. Then comes In the Fast Lane, who's racing about 6 lengths off the early leader. Masked Lady is racing on the inside of Lana Falcon. A gap of 2 behind that to Razzle Dazzle Rose, who's sitting on the outside of Omati Kaya. Then we find Welwitcher, easily a dozen lengths off that leader. Next towards the inside, we find Hami Zuka, who's racing on the inside of Jet Bell, and 3 lengths at the tail of the field. We find Reflective Image, and she's 16 lengths off that leader as they come round the turn towards the 800. Jet Supreme sets the pace in the Cloverflame Mallorca Stakes. She leads the way by 2 over Priceless Jewel is in second. A length and a half away comes Beach Beauty and Espumante. Those two are side by side. Then we find In the Fast Lane, Masked Lady is being followed by Welwitcher, Lana Falcon, Omadi Kaya, Razzle Dazzle Rose. Further back in running comes Hamizuka, Jet Bell and Reflective Image. Whip them in as they straighten up, head towards the 400. Jet Supreme along the inside says, come and catch me if you can. Into the clear we got Beach Beauty. She's starting a run up the middle, and she's starting to cut back the deficit with each and every stride. Between runners, Priceless Jewel. Then Espumante gets going towards the inside. Deeper out comes Dana Falcon. 200 meters left to go. Beach Beauty puts her head in front, and she kicks for home. The chase is on. Hamizuka's on the charge up the outside, but Beach Beauty, she shows the class, and Beach Beauty beats Hamizuka. Priceless Jewel, and behind that Espumante.
A very excited Sean Cormack, and rightly so. KZN's Horse of the Year has gone down and won the Mallorca, the Cloverflame Mallorca Stakes. And again, we don't just say Dynasty, another big one. This is a super filly.
I love this filly. She's just so good, and
Where would she have run in the Met?
I think she would have walked the Met. I said so before. We went to Cape Town. I honestly could not see her losing the Met if she ran. And the way it panned out, she would have sat up third. She would have run past the winner. But, the Met is something else. This was a fillies race. This was probably the right mark for her. But,
$1 million rand, they decided.
But put one of those big group ones in a name. Well, maybe she'll win the July. Who knows,
Yeah,
maybe that's the race for her.
Dynasties go that trip, you're right. But well done to Dennis Dreyer. Well done to Sean Cormack. Well done to the Shark. What's Shank Syndicate?
Shank Syndicate, yeah.
Well done to the
kids
Shank
in the
Syndicate.
team, John Boscobi and
Yeah,
them.
well done to
Fantastic
the
for them,
gang of them. They were all there. It was highly emotional, and it was fantastic. She's carried the flag, this filly, and I'm pleased she stayed in training for this extra time, James, because
Well,
she's a superstar.
It shows that the racing's racing, and you want to race them. The true sportsmen race their horses.
Yeah.
They can go breeding when they 5, 6 years
James
old.
Hamizuka, another Group 1 second.
She's been unlucky, hasn't
Yeah,
she?
she's good. She's good too.
Had to bump,
Priceless Jewel,
had to
Espumante.
bump Beach Beauty every time. Jeez, that
Yeah.
must be the worst. Anyway, let's move on. The big one is the JMB Met, and I thought this was the master class of Anton Marcus. I think that he had a feel in the Derby of what he wanted to do, and he rode this horse like the master that he is. Take nothing away from Vaughan. I prepared the horse absolutely perfectly for the race, and he said on air that this horse was better than last year. He looked to have a great chance, but the ride was absolutely exceptional.
Just as we were talking, you and I were discussing in the car earlier about how it's been done. It's wonderful. They've come through together. Vaughan Marshall, Captain L, and John Costa.
Yeah.
There they go. They bred Captain L, who went through with Vaughan Marshall, champion. They brought on the son, and they've gone through and won the Met. It's a unique record for those guys. Well done to Vaughan. Well done to John at Cloverflay. And, of course, well done to Captain L. Fantastic, James.
Yeah, just speaking about Vaughan for a moment, he's one of the nicest guys in racing, comes from a racing background. And I think that he deserves more credit than he gets, because he's a quiet,
very good trainer, James. Any distance.
Yeah,
5 furlong to Gold Cup.
You know, I just sort of remember the years he's trained a Met winner already,
Yeah.
and you know the years that he was in KwaZulu-Natal as a trainer. He was a bloody good trainer.
He still is, and Vaughan Marshall's shown them, because he went down to Cape Town. He went in against the Big Five in those days, and he's shown what a good trainer is. Well done to Vaughan.
I don't think that he gets the pick of the Ulster horses either, by any manner of means. And I don't think he's had the pick. There's been other trainers that get bigger and better horses than him. But his record stands alone with
That's right.
the big horses.
He trotted into town and won the Alan Robertson last year with the Silvano. He's very good.
You know, he deserves better than he's got so far.
He got this horse, James. He got this horse into second last year. He got one better, and a lot's got to be as you say, a lot of kudos have got to be thrown at the jockey.
Let's go. Should we go check Anton? Watch this ride carefully. This is absolutely as good as you'll see.
Fate. Here's the last one to step forward and complete the lineup. We set for a start. 2,000 meters, all clear. Racing in the JMB Met from the 2,000 meter mark. No worries on the far side, began quickly, so too did Hill 54. Royal Zulu Warrior on the rail is also pushing forward, so too Punta Arenas as they link onto the course proper. Then comes Yorker racing next, and behind that comes the white gap of Do You Remember? Master of My Fate in the blue and white colours. He's settling to race about 8 lengths off that leader. Jet Explorer on his inside, and Cape Town Noir is 3 deep, pushing past runners down the back straight. Next it's Wiley Hall. He's also on the move outside of runners. A length and a half away comes Lake Arth on the inside of the grey King of Pain. 3 deep on the outside. We got Ice Machine, Awesome Power. Jackson, he's content to race back, 1 from last. And sitting at the back, we got Hot Ticket as they leave the back of the track behind, rolling to that turn with 1,200 meters left to travel. In front, it's Hill 54 that takes the JMB Met field onto the 1,000 meter mark. He leads the way by a length and a half, and no worries. He's racing in second, a half a length back on the inside, Royal Zulu Warrior. 2 further back, we find Punta Arenas. Then comes White Line Fever. Cape Town Wine, the yellow colours, he's on the rail and 8 lengths off that leader. Next, it's Wiley Hall and Yorker. Do You Remember? Behind that, we got Jet Explorer. Master of My Fate is a dozen lengths off that leader, Lake Arthur. Ice Machine, Awesome Power. Behind that, we've got Do You Remember? Then comes Jackson. He's cornering at the back as they straighten up. In the JMB Met, they got 550 meters left to go. Hill 54, he's hanging towards the stand side rail. No worries on the inside. Then comes Royal Zulu Warrior, Punta Arenas. Yorker gets going towards the inside. Cape Town Noir is up the middle. Master of My Fate into the clear, flashing. They fanned right across the track. Hill 54, Yorker. Between runners, we've got Master of My Fate getting going. Down the inside, we got Ice Machine. It's Hill 54. He's finding another gear, and Hill 54 is powering home to conquer the Met. Hill 54 from Yorker. Then we had Punta Arenas, Master of My Fate behind that. Next in running,
well, there we go. A masterful ride by a master. And interesting, James. Well done, of course, to Market and Ingris Yorster. It's their first Met. They've had 4 seconds. They had another second with Yorker, and they had 4th. So a big day for them and their friends.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They're the powerhouse of South African racing. Not only in the breeding, the owning business, but certainly the running of racing.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, they deserve every bit of success they get. And well done to them. And you know, their manager Derek Brookman obviously manages the whole.
Yeah, he's done a good job for them. James, just getting back to the pace. Again, like the Vodacom Durban July a couple of years ago, or last year, whenever it was, everything slows up. The horses at the back are gone. Jackson, King of Pain.
Yeah.
The front, the first
Master
4
of My
home.
Fate, you know, just even you know, sort of Cape Town Noir had to switch out. The winner was in front.
York was about 6th. Punta Arenas was 3rd.
Yeah.
And White Line Fever, I think, was
White
5th.
Line Fever was 4th. You know, that's where they finished. You just couldn't make up the ground.
Yeah, you couldn't.
And it was interesting that Zechner on Royal Zulu Warrior didn't actually go. I would have thought that he would have gone. You know, he looked fighting to get this horse to settle. I think that he should have gone. But we're going to move on, and let's go and have a look at the JMB Stayers, which is a Group 2.
Just to mention the breeders of Hill 54. Claverflay. Well done to
I
them.
think we have mentioned
Have we
them,
mentioned?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was a hell of a big day for them as
Yeah.
well, you know,
I
especially
think we
with...
mentioned the dynasty, you know, the Costas
Okay,
and the whole
lovely.
thing.
Okay.
But let's move on and go and have a look at the Jambi Stayers. This is the last race on the card. And this was a triumph for Walter. So let's go and have a look and see what happens.
Straighten up, last of the afternoon, and head towards the 400. Tipper Wannamoon says, come and catch me if you can. Coltrane is closest to him along the inside. They've pulled a couple of lengths clear of Gifted for Glory, starting to lift. Global Express, River Crossing also starts to kick. Paddy O'Reilly's Deeper Art and Ella Bella from the clouds is also starting to unwind into the closing stages. Coltrane, River Crossing, Gifted for Glory, any one of three. River Crossing is forging to the front close home, and River Crossing wins the last of the afternoon. Coltrane in second, Gifted for Glory and Wave and Flag in a photo.
To cap a very good day for Arthur Marcus, and of course, well done to Bryn Russell, Marsh Shirtliff, and the partners. I think there are a few more involved with River Crossing. Oh yeah, Wayne. Did you see Wayne leading it in?
Wayne was it?
That's what the game needs. That's what the game needs. The small guys got involved with these big boys, and he was over the moon when his horse won the last.
Having the time of his life. And funny enough, earlier in the day, I think Brett Crawford won a race for some overseas, some English guys who came out especially to watch their horse run.
Fantastic.
You know, that's what makes them it.
Charlie Coster and his schoolmate, they had the first race winner. So the whole dynasty
Yeah,
started.
but they hadn't really warmed up yet, you know,
Yes.
Charlie and them. He hadn't got himself going. But when he's had a few of those green tractors,
Yeah.
then he really fires
One of
it
those
up.
tractors has been retired to stud. I think Red's still racing, Green's
Yeah.
gone. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's stud.
Yeah, no, the John Deere is
Got
gone, but
a dear John.
yeah.
So-
But just on this race, Marcus brilliant. Marcus brilliant on Castlethorpe. Marcus had 5 rides, 4 winners, I think. You
Yeah,
know,
he won
just
early in the day, yeah.
bloody ridiculous, and he just was absolutely at his very, very best. And this was River Crossing last time. Well, in my opinion, it should have walked in last time. It got beaten by the stable companion Gifted for Gloria, put it absolutely right this time. And Coltrane ran a good race, but it shows you there's some quite nice young stayers coming along. Coltrane, Gifted for Glory, Waving Flag, all ran good races.
Yeah.
They look like they'll be the future horses to follow.
Well done to
over the
Fast
season.
Fontaine. Fast Fontaine, I think, bred that horse. To,
He's
River
by
Cro-
Cesar, yeah. He's
Yeah.
you know, fantastic horse. But we got Mike de Kock coming up, and maybe we should go and listen
Yes.
to what he's got to
He's
say.
on form.
Yeah, he's on firing form. I think they've had 6 or 8 winners in the carnival already, up there, right there with the top. Let's go and
Okay,
hear
let's get the latest.
The starter has the buck, pushes it. Right approach, brought up 1,000 metres. But Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown. It's unclassic. It's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rayhana. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgo Sprint. It's Victory Moon. Back comes again. Victory Moon. Ipe Tambi takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai duty-free Ipe Tambi, the winner.
Well, on the line, all the way from Dubai, none other than Mike de Kock. Mike, nice to have you with us today.
Pleasure, Goody, thanks.
Hell of a last 2 weeks. We didn't speak to you last week, unfortunately. Laff was in the studio on his own, and he felt a little like he needed his blanket, you know.
When he's done it.
But you had a couple last week and then a couple this week that's just been, and looked very satisfactory.
Yeah, it's been good, Goody, you know, winning a couple of features, which does help. And the horses, you know, just as the weeks go by, they're getting better and better.
The interesting horse was your one that won when you had the double, Mujarib. He looks like he probably races quite fresh, this horse.
He does, James. You know, listen, he's always been a horse that had a lot of problems. And I think these 6 months that we've spent on the road have probably done him the world of good. His skeleton's probably settled down a bit. And probably a lesson as well, in that he doesn't take as much as we think he does.
Okay, now this week looks like a hell of a week for us. You've got a number of entries I've seen, but the 2 big ones are the Maidan Classic Trial and the Maktoum Challenge.
Yes, they're the two big races. I'm probably going to run Journeyman in the Classic Trial. I think he could be a little bit better on the turf, despite the fact that he is a trippy. But his turf work has been better than his all-weather work. And he's quite a tough horse here. He needs racing, so he might even back up again the week after. But keen to get him on the turf. Make-Tomb Trial, Make-Tomb Challenge, I think it is. I've got 3 in there, but I'm more than likely might just go with Zahi if I go with anything. Alexander's a little bit out at the ratings, and Mars, I think I'm going to sit on another week before I let him go, and probably just start him in a mile, which will probably be better for him.
Will Heavy Metal run in the Make-Tomb Challenge?
Yes, Heavy Metal runs. Got to give him a bash on the all-weather. Sean's quite keen, which does, if he goes on it, it does open a lot of options.
Yeah.
He knows he goes on grass, so if he doesn't, you switch back, I think, and Joey's doing the same thing with Variety Club next week, which, as I say, it really does open things up for you if they go on the all-weather. Listen, you've got to be bold. You've only got 10 meetings.
Absolutely. How are the riding arrangements? What do they look like?
Nothing finalised at this stage, Goody. I think Sean's working 1 or 2 options. We'll have that finalised by tomorrow morning.
Okay, and then the other big races, obviously the UAE Guineas, the 1,000 Guineas, and you've got the 3 fillies in there, Mansoura, Magruma and Magrura. What does that look like?
Probably going to run all 3. Mansoura just needed it a little bit last week. She's a bit better than that, and once she came away from the rail, she actually started to run on. But she didn't travel that well, and she got a little bit behind in her preparation and fitness. Not ideal to back up, but this is the carnival. You don't always do ideal things when you've only got 10 weeks to do them. So all 3 will run.
And what do the dangers look like there? Is there anything that's really good? I know that very good filly came out and won last week of theirs, the Godolphin bunch.
Verify, yeah. I think the filly that won last time, and then there's Autumn Lily. They've got some nice fillies there, but I've got to think that a filly like Magruma has definitely improved, or Magrura as well, on their last starts. They'll be fitter, and they'll be well. I think whatever they got beaten, they will make up in fitness and experience. So it's a race I'm looking forward to. I think I've got 3 fillies in there that certainly are well and certainly do have the ability to win the race.
The rest of your runners, I see you got Star Empire in. He ran a cracking good race first time out, and probably looks like he's come on.
Yes, James, a cracking run over 2,000. He's top weight, but having said that, it wouldn't be, that he's giving away weight to any superstars. So he deserves to be top weight. He's the best horse in the race, and I think he's a big runner at 2.8. And then if my memory serves me correctly, he did win the same race last year. So, he stays all day, and it's the right race for him.
All right, and then just as far as the rest are concerned, you've got the handicaps, and I see you've got a couple of interesting runners in the nominated in the one-run handicap. Ala Bayeb.
Yeah, he's okay. He probably wants the turf. He didn't run too well last week on the all-weather. Alestrondos is in pretty good form at the moment. He was just beaten by a better horse last time. Turf seems to be his game, anything from a mile to 9 furlongs. Then we got Lehaif in the 14 all-weather. He's unfortunately quite down in the handicap. He needs about 6 or 7 horses to get out for him to get in.
Yeah.
If he gets in, he's a horse worth following. He's come on a ton. And at 98, he's a very well handicapped horse. I think he's a horse that could finish up well into the hundreds.
Well, it looks.
But he's going to need a bit of luck to get in.
It looks like a hell of a week's racing. Everything going according to track. How's it going with the other big horses? Is things on plan?
James, they're starting. Horses like Verset and Getirix and that are starting to pick up. Fortunately, I've probably. I know we are running out of time, but I'm going to have to wait until probably the end of February, early March before I get him going. But it's not the end of the world if he doesn't fire in Dubai. he's also been capable to go on to Hong Kong and England and do his. But he is really starting to come well. Very happy with him.
And anything there that's just really caught your eye and really improved that you're getting ready in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, certainly a horse. I've got big plans for Mars. I think he's going to need his first run, but when he goes, the further he goes, the better he's going to get. Little horse like Full Combat's come on very well. He ran in the Guineas trial last time, and he runs in the Guineas next week. He's doing very, very well. I'm expecting him to improve quite a bit. And working with a horse like Variety Club's been quite exciting. I like the way he's going. I think we're all waiting with anticipation for his first start on the 13th, which is going to be on the all-weather. So, exciting times as far as South Africans and South African breds go. I think, they'll be flying the flag.
Anything in the sprinting ranks? Shay, we haven't heard much about him.
Shay's doing brilliantly. I gave him a really good rest, and he'll start. As I said, this year I wasn't going to campaign him as extensively as I did last year. I left out the first run. We'll run him in the same race he won on Super Saturday. He'll start there and then go to the World Cup night and then on to Royal Ascot.
And his back.
So I've been just a little softer on him, but he's really enjoyed a good rest. Soft Fall in Rain has also enjoyed a really good rest. He'll only come out on Super Saturday as well. So, keeping a few of them for later in the carnival as well, James.
Well, fantastic as always chatting to you, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time for the Valentine's Day Massacre. Have a good one. Kill those boys on the course.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers, man.
Pushes it. Right approach, brought up 1,000 metres. But Grand Emporium in front, too good. Asiatic Boy wins the UAE Triple Crown.
Look at that.
It's unclassic. It's another one for South Africa. Musa takes the lead from Rayhana. Soft Falling Rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Shay takes the lead. Shay wins the Elgoz Sprint. It's Victory Moon. Comes again. Victory Moon. Ipe Tombe takes the lead and wins 2 seconds for the Dubai Duty Free. Ipe Tombe the winner.
Well, there we go. Mike de Kock on the line, and a wealth of information for those of you out there that are prepared to listen, because certainly given us a pretty good idea of what's going on and where we're going.
Yeah, no, it's always good to hear from him. He knows what he's talking about. He's a great trainer.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to this week. Should be good racing this week in Dubai again, but we're going to have a look at one of the little races that really tickled our fancy in Dubai. Right Approach winning there.
Soft Falling Rain, the 3-year-old, is coming at half thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft Falling Rain alongside half thick. He puts his head in front. Soft Falling Rain is drawing clear. Soft Falling Rain has won the Godolphin Mile. Evolving Tactics goes in. The Dubai Duty Free field is set. The flag is up. The starter has the button. Pushes it. Racing in the Dubai Duty Free, and Right Approach dropped back shortly after the break. Bright Sky, the favourite, a little slow to go. Refused to Bend came out quickly. Martillo began well, and Crimson Palace settles third at the end of the first 100 metres. A length away is Sarah Fan, followed by Nair. Evolving Tactics on the rail, and then Surveyor. Paolini on the fence, drifting well back. Checkered going forward. Bright Sky is second last, and Right Approach after the slow beginning and dropped back to the tail of the field as they make the top of the track. Refused to Bend and Kieran McAvoy show the way, travelling to the 1,200 metres mark. Martillo a length and a quarter away second. Crimson Palace third, enjoying the run of the race. Sarafan fourth, and now taking closer order, followed by Nair. Evolving Tactics midfield, following the fence on the inside of Surveyor. A length to check it, then Paolini. Bright Sky is second last, and still Right Approach brought up the rear as they travel down the side of the course in the Dubai Duty Free. Refused to Bend by a little more than a length. Martillo second. Sarafan third, 2 lengths away from the lead. Crimson Palace on the rail. Frankie Dettori has given that mare every chance. Then Nayer, who's won away from the fence, followed by Surveyor. Evolving Tactics behind them from Checkered, Paolini, Bright Sky, and Right Approach last into the straight with 500 metres left to go. Refuse to bend. A half length in front of Martillo. Crimson Palace on the rail looking for the way out. Nayer's gone up to be fourth, followed by Sarafan. Checkered on the fence. Evolving Tactics looking for the way through. Bright Sky still a long way back. Martillo's hit the lead from Nayer, 200 metres out. Then Refuse to bend. Paolini and Right Approach down the outside. Nayer in front. Right Approach is zooming at the end. Right Approach coming hard. Paolini lunged. Oh, thriller in the duty free. Paolini, Right Approach in a photo. Nayer on their heels. Then Martillo, Check It, Bright Sky, followed by Evolving Tactics, Refuse to Bend, Sarafan and Surveyor.
Well, you don't need words to describe how wonderful that finish was. Paolini, Right Approach, going to the line, just grabbing Nayer. It is very close. On the near side, Jim, Right Approach, far side, Paolini.
Yeah, it looks like Paolini may... Oh, that's very, very tight indeed. With the naked eye at the time, it looked like Paolini. It's a matter of where that line is.
I don't know, I think it could well be a double for Waichon Mowing and Mike de Kock, Right Approach on the outside.
It's very, very tight indeed.
Andreas, we just can't split them, can you?
Even when the rewind was, you couldn't really see who won. It was up and down with the head. Hopefully he did it because he really deserved it after all the placings.
He really does, and back off a break as well after the Arlington Million.
Yeah, he's had a lovely run through down the straight. Eddie did everything perfect. But sorry, I have...
Yeah, go to the horse. He's got to run off and see his horse. It is absolutely nail-biting down here. Let's just see if we can pick up Mike de Kock. He's just behind me here. They're unsaddling the horses. Nobody knows who's won this. Waichon Mowing is just in front of me here, and he's taking a turn around here. Mike de Kock's got a smile on his wry smile on his face. Mike, do you think you got it?
I don't know. You know what? I'm confident, but we'll wait for the number.
Waichon is confident apparently, but we're still waiting for the number.
I think it's very close.
Do you think they could call a dead heat?
Better than losing it.
Waichon, what do you think?
Very close. I think I've got up in the side of the post. The horse seems to have dived at the line, and that may be after the line. It's very close, but I think I may have done just enough.
You think you've got it. Waichon Mowing thinks he's got it, but nobody knows.
Well, real drama. A dead heat has been announced here at the end of the Dubai Duty Free between number 5 Paolini and 7 Right Approach.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at half thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside half thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Well, as promised in emails, we're going to have a look and see what people have got to say. And we've got a couple of interesting ones today. The first one is from George Barnes. He's asked the question, even on an 18 program, I can't read out what George has got to say. George has got an imagination bigger and better than anyone. But he says, why didn't they show Kempton, the King George and Kempton?
It's a group one on Boxing Day, and they showed Fontwell, Market Race and Wolverhampton. The only thing I can think of, George, is because they got the two stations there at the races and Racing UK.
Yeah.
Maybe we're getting the link from Racing UK, which didn't have the rights for that, George.
It's all to do with the betting. We're betting on certain race meetings, so that's what we show. But let's move on left.
Okay, here's one we've got. This is interesting. It's from one of our good mates, Justin Diamond. Now, Justin Diamond, many years ago, worked for Herman Brown Sr., Paul Brown. He was an assistant trainer. He's a man who's steeped in racing. One of your great mates, James.
Justin Diamond, of the Jetmaster Fireplaces, okay? That's
right.
His fame, Jetmaster Fireplaces, but more importantly, he was most famous for pulling one very pretty girl in England when we were there working in the early 70s, called Sophie Waterlove.
That was her surname?
Yeah, and she's now Nicky Henderson's partner, okay? And Sophie was the prettiest girl in Newmarket, and we all chased her, okay? But
and Diamond got it.
Good-looking Diamond got the girl, okay?
James, what he's on
and
about...
And then Mark Prescott she ended up Mark Prescott's girlfriend for a long time.
Okay, yeah.
So Mark.
He says all the best for the new year that's come along. And what he didn't get, what catches me about this is that main reason for that it never got to respond to our last conversation where you said we've always been shoeing horses like us. What's he talking about?
It was something to do with the way they shoe the horses. But what he goes on about is that you've got to go onto a website called Cytek Revolution, C-Y-T-E-K Revolution, and he explains what the shoeing's all about.
Just give that to the public again.
Cytek, C-Y-T-E-K Revolution, one word. .com, I would have thought it is. I would think put it in your browser, Cytek Revolution, C-Y-T-E-K. And that will help everyone out there with shoeing. So wonderful of Justin to write into us. He's more famous for his good looks than anything else.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on and talk about Mike Hilton. This guy, Mike Hilton, I tell you, he's a nice guy because he likes everything that we do.
Yeah, he's very good. And you keep putting on more highlights packages with all the mistakes and the funnies. He says we shouldn't just do it once a year. Try and get it out there as a good laugh.
You know, a lot of them you can't show on television.
Yeah.
They are so hilarious, but a lot of people would be very badly done by.
Margaret Cunnington, this is from her, and Margaret Cunnington says, my partner is an RA member, which should give members benefit, but it seems this is not the case. Basically, she's saying that if you can't get into the paddock room, we're at 2,500, or the RA room at 600 per person, there's nowhere to grab a sandwich in that. And we had a horse riding on Saturday, which we were aware of, and they were very disappointed with the treatment they received. And as a small owner, you've got to cater for them. She's basically saying Margaret Cunnington, James. You know
well, she's got a problem, Margaret, with how they treated in the Western Cape as far as RA owners are concerned. But she sent this to the Racing Association and to Sporting Post, so she should be able to get the answer from one of the two of them.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that we've just had the Met. And there were a number of people that were not.
Well, I've got another one that just touched on it.
Well, let's go into that one. And
yeah,
have
just
a look
the other
at
one. Just another one we got. This is fresh off the press because this happened. That a guy was just saying the Gold Circle members got the short straw. He was saying they had nowhere to go and race. They could put it out in the sun. And just a couple of points is that how much money they channel into Cape racing with their gambling. They come from the Indian community up here, and as you know, they're great gamblers. And they said, you know, what would happen if all the Natal Indian punters decided not to support Cape racing? You've got to make it a two-way street. You've got to cater for us. And secondly, what sort of reciprocation are they expecting for the Vodacom in July?
I think that's the point. The point is that what's the reciprocation going to be like when it comes to Vodacom July? Because all I know is that there were a lot of people that certainly spoke to me. I've got absolutely nothing to do with it, and I'm sure spoke to you.
Yeah, a lot of people spoke to me.
You know, the facilities that were laid on for people, racegoers and punters and people that are involved in the business and owners who've travelled to Cape Town for the Met.
Yeah, it was tough.
But it was not detracting from the day. It was an outstanding race day.
Outstanding race day, yeah. They got it all. But I agree with you. We've got to air these drops, and these are members.
And we've got to all work together. The point is that I think we've got to start thinking about how to look after people that are an integral part of racing on these big days.
Yes.
Because that seems to be the problem. You can't just look after the
one-day wonders.
Yeah, you've got to actually sit down and say, the people that race regularly with us, and that's why this card system, you know, that they have in the casinos, VIP card system,
MVP,
is such a good idea. because people then that have shown that they are a valuable punter or valuable race goer, not a valuable sit-at-home punter, but a valuable race goer gets looked after on these big days because they are the fans.
I agree with you 100%, James. You said it right. And the two guys who on the plane with me, they said we did $7,000 each came down here. No. But we had to do it in the boiling sun looking for a cold.
And they probably race every single race day at KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay.
Gary Jolliffe, reflective image, and we were happy to be able to congratulate him on that, and he thanks us for that. But he's worried about the bookmakers and how we get around this problem that we have at the moment, where the betting's not being shown and the punters, actually the punter, the owner, and the breeder, where he's a breeder, owner, and the punter, are not getting they're getting the thin end of the wedge. And
Michel Narak promised to get back on the show after we had him discussing the potholes in the road that were coming up, so to speak, but we will keep you updated on that. And they really are concerned that things aren't going to go right with their viewing, because their viewing is what leads to their punting. And thanks, Gary, to Gary and Jackie, thanks very, very much, and well done with your horse. Reflective Image, what a superstar, and she's really done well for them, James. I'm very pleased.
Okay, let's go to the next one, Lach.
Okie dokie, and here, this is interesting, and this was from a person called Vishan, and Vishan said, loved the show on genetics, said it really opened up another side to it, and just wanted to know how bookies get their pricing for the big races. Who does it? It's a panel, isn't it, James, to get together?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that was a very interesting show, Emmeline, the Irish lady. Geez, I found it fascinating chatting to her. But, talking about genetics, the genetics produce the racehorses. Let's go and see what Magic Millions has produced. They've had a good week.
Good week, yeah. Here we are. Here are the winners that came up. Sweetie, Endearment, and Choir Maiden. And all of them, funny enough, I had a look. I went back and looked at all bought cheaply.
Yeah.
All bought cheap and all very decent horses. So well done to all those, and well done
Just
to Magic Millions.
talking about that, there's a Magic Millions sale on the 18th and 19th of February, isn't there, in Perth?
Perth, what's come up? They've always had a Perth sale, and Vincox family.
That might be worth going to for South African buyers.
Well, the January sale, they average 150. They average 46 at Perth. But they've always had this belief that they weren't getting enough good stallions out there. They've got the Western Australian stallions. But then along comes Scenic Blast, who was just about the horse of the year, won everything. Remember, he went over and raced at Royal Ascot.
It was by Scenic, yeah.
Yeah, and now all these horses, they've got so many good stallions. They've got all the top stallions are now represented at Perth.
I remember Mace Roberts bought a Bletchingley Park, I think, that won 7 or 8 races.
He went to stud here,
for about 10,000 rand.
He went to stud here, that's right. He went to Howells, I forget his name, good sprinter. Yeah. Great acceleration. He won the Flamboyant with another grey horse. Remember, they were all for Chips Pennell.
From that
Chips Pennell.
Yeah, Chips Pennell. Right, we've got one more to go.
Just says one more thing before we go into that, James. The second point, this is from Vishan, about handicapping. Doesn't have much about handicapping. Could we look to invite V. Moodley? He seems to be very clued up, and I agree, V knows his handicapping. Just to come and talk about the basics of handicapping.
I would love to get V. Moodley on the show.
Yeah. He's always ready to come,
V would be a great guy to interview. We'd be able to find out a few things about young V. Let's move on and talk about, this is from Lionel. And Lionel says he'd been at Bayview Tote. Do you know where Bayview Tote is, Lach?
I think it's going to be at Finland's way, Finland's Bayview from my soccer days. It'd be on the bluff. To answer that question.
Did you stomp around there?
I used to stomp around there as a young man, yeah. Some of my great mates came from there. The mighty Phil Chivers, who was a bluff boy. He grew up in that area.
Yeah, Gaza.
Yeah, Gaza, that's right, Gaza. So he had Oracle News. He's had a very good group.
Well, this guy, Lionel, says that they're only meant to take cash, but he's witnessed incidents where we follow long lines just to take a bet while the operators are busy on the company phones taking private bets for people that they know. Now, this seems completely wrong.
It does seem wrong. I think we've got to hand this letter to Patrick Loker.
Yeah.
Because you don't mind if you're in a bookmaking shop, he goes on to say, does Lionel, that if you're in a bookmaking shop and you're queuing up and a phone goes and it's a client for the bookmaker and he lays a bet, that's to be done. But where it's a tote, James, there shouldn't be that, should there?
Yeah, no, you can't do this on the tote, You've got to look after your customers that are standing in a queue and that's it. You know, they've got to be looked on. Okay, but we're out of time left, so let's you know, wrap it up. We've spoken about everything that we can, and you know, let's move on for next week.
His last line though, James, I like this. If only Shirley Kruger could open a tote down here, and punters would get better and more efficient service. So good plug for Shirley Kruger. She must look after her clients. Well done, Shirley.
Good on, good on, Shirley. Okay, well, there you go. That was them from Laf and me. We hope you have a great week's racing. Remember, Maidan on Thursday, and there's going to be some fun this week.